Hi, everyone. This is actually my first time doing a live, so please be patient with me if there are some things that um, I'm getting acclimated with during a live. So, yeah, so there goes that. But today I wanted to talk to everyone about a few things that I feel like the Lord has been leading on my heart for us as a community to prepare for prior to the actual hit of the wealth transfer. So let me pull some of those things up. Give me a few seconds or minutes. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's pull these right over here. And okay, let me see if I can share my screen because I don't know how to actually share my screen. Oh, okay, hold on. Mm, okay. So the first thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is if we're specifically talking about Terralunaclassic taking off, because I know a lot of people have Terra on Kraken, um, we definitely need to make sure that you are Kraken Pro verified. And so I did this maybe about a month ago, and that's when I decided, I should probably prepare. I should probably prepare something for you guys just to get you prompted on that. I know that Marcus from Walk His Way has talked about that a long, long time ago. But if you're like me, where you tend to procrastinate and take a while, I didn't get to doing it until recently, again, around a month ago. So that was interesting. But after you get to the end of that, what's really important is actually checking the limits that they allow you to move back and forth with um, the amount of cryptocurrency that you have. So I think the limit is $100,000 a day, which it sounds like a lot, but if you are expecting a lot of money coming through with the cryptocurrency and just exchanging back and forth, $100,000 a day may not be enough. So I had them increase my limits on Kraken, and so I want you guys to definitely reach out to Kraken. I had to write them. They had to ask me for like an updated ID. I guess I didn't have an updated ID in the system. So I ended up asking for them to increase my limits. I was so happy when that actually happened. When they actually notified me that they increased my limit, I can't remember the exact number, but it was significantly much more than 100,000 per day. And then I think it caps you at a million a month. Like I think that's just their general what, number that they give to people. So, anyways, that's that. I'll definitely encourage you guys to do that. By the way, the person who ended up approving my increase requests for them to expand the limit that I have daily and monthly, their name was Grace, and I took that as an option, not an option. Sorry, I took that as a confirmation from God that it's through His grace that all of this is going to happen. And I actually have a Bible verse that's related to that, but I'll show that later. Um, we can do as much as we want to, and we need to prepare, obviously, but everything happens by His grace. We're not worthy of the things that He's going to give us. So I thought it was amazing. I was actually afraid that they wouldn't approve my limit increase. And for any of us that has a significant, I don't want to say significant, but when you look at the sell limit orders versus how much you actually have and when they actually hit, it's a significant amount of money. And I don't want to be capped out of the amount of money that I want to move at $100,000 a day. I want more than that. Um, for the projects that we have in mind and stuff like that. And we also don't know, government shutdowns, anything could happen. And so I want to be able to take out the maximum amount or move the maximum amount as possible. So that was something that I wanted to point out. Make sure you check all your sell limits, and not only are you just checking them, but are they being converted to USDC or USDT? I don't use USDT, but because of all the things that was surrounding it. But just make sure you check your sell limits and put them in smaller chunks so that's easier to fill. That's one thing Pastor Jordan Kryptonite had told a lot of people, and I think that's actually very logical. So, okay, let me run down the list to see if there's more stuff. Hold on. Oh, the other thing is, I think we need to start thinking about the next investment that we want to put whatever money that God is going to give us through the first wave of things, right? Are we going to dump it more into XRP? Are we going to dump it more into a particular stock? Real estate, whatever it is, just make sure you have that in mind. Because for me, I think the next thing that I want to do is XRP and any other investments that I personally didn't think I had enough in. I'm going to spread them out. Then we need to think about where we're going to tithe and offer, our immediate debt payoffs, because that's important. And we need to finalize our blueprint outline, like the outline of it at least. And then we need to really prioritize our health and safety. So I'm gonna pull up the other sheet that's really more in details. So okay, let me read you the Bible verse that goes into each of the checkpoints that I just mentioned. And by the way, guys, this live won't be long. Catch it later if you can't catch it now. But yeah, the next investment that we need to think on. We always hear this Bible verse from Ecclesiastes 11:2. Invest in seven ventures. Yes, in 8, you do not know what disaster may come upon the land. That's why I'm urging you guys to think about the other investments that you may have felt like, God, I don't have enough to put into all these other buckets. Well, when that first wave comes, try to strategize on the amount that you think you need to go forward, and invest in those different pots. But don't wait until we actually get this money for you to start thinking, oh, let me think about this. If you think about it now, it's going to be a lot easier for you to have a calmer mind and put things into place. I remember there was a time where I had all of these business ideas, but I didn't have anything to fund it. And I would get frustrated. I would say, why is God giving me all of these ideas only to not have the funds to back it up? And I remember someone very wise said to me, it's better that you have these ideas so that when God blesses you with money in the future, and this was way before any wealth transfer talk. This was way before I even knew any wealth transfer would exist. I'm talking about maybe 15 plus years ago. And they said, it's better for you to have the idea so that when the money comes, you know exactly where to place it, where to move it, what plans need to be done for that idea. But if you don't think of ideas prior to you getting the money, and then you get the money, you're going to waste it very fast because you don't have an actual aim. And I believe there's a Bible verse that talks about having when a boxer aims, he doesn't aim at nothing, like he has an actual target. I'm probably like not quoting it exactly the way that it was said in the Bible, but that's something that we should think on. I want to go back to this actual verse because people tend to know this part. Invest in 7 ventures, yes, even in 8, but they don't know the full verse of it. And I think that's really important. Give me 1 second. Okay. So here's the entirety of the thing, and I'm not going to read all of it, but only what stood out. Ship your grain across the sea. Some people say bread. After many days, you may receive a return. Then it talks about invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8, and blah, blah, blah. But let's go down right here. If clouds are full of water, they pour rain on the earth. Whether a tree falls to the south or the north, in the place where it falls, there it will lie. Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap. as you do not know the path of the wind or how the body is formed in a mother's womb. So you cannot understand the work of God, the maker of all things. But here's the part that I thought was very important. Sow your seed in the morning, and at evening let your hands not be idle, for you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will do equally well. So to me, I think this is very important because it talks about not letting our hands be idle. That, you know, we should be thinking of things. We should be moving in just thinking of ways that would be helpful to make our plans become a reality, right? And we sow our seeds, which is exactly what we're doing now. We're sowing our seeds as we invest into whatever it is that we feel led to invest in by God. So that's something that I wanted to check back in on and read that full verse, because I know people tend to only read this part of it. And let me know. Oh my God, you guys don't even see my other screen. I'm so sorry. Hold on one second. I didn't realize. And hello, Victoria. Thank you for joining. Give me 1 second. Let me actually put the screen I've been reading the whole time. Why didn't you guys tell me? That's so funny. Okay, hold on. And please be patient with me. As I said in the beginning, this is my first live ever. Okay, so as I said, this is what I've actually been alluding to, and I thought it was put up on the screen and it wasn't, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so that's that. Think about your investments that you're going to put your money into. And then the next thing is, where will you tithe and offer, right? So one thing that people talk about all the time is the actual Bible verse that talks about tithing, and there are a few of them. But what no one talks about is 1 Timothy 5:8. Anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. I think that a lot of people tend to take care of outside things for God, and they neglect their own home. Like, they take care of outside things at the expense of neglecting their own home. And that's not God's word. He may ask you to sacrifice, which is different, but it's not his word for you to abandon your position as a provider. And I'm not just talking about men, but you have duties at home, right? You have duties as a woman at home. You have duties as a man at home. And as a result, I think a lot of people have forgotten about being a provider in your own household and just taking care of the things that need to be done there. So when that first wave comes, make sure people in your home are good. And I'm not talking about specific lavish things that they want. Their basic needs, about, like, maybe they've been struggling to pay rent. I done it over a year ago. Oh, okay. Good. Big ups to you. And I'm guessing you're talking about like investments and just these other plans, right? Let me know. Yeah, just keep giving me feedback and let me know what you're referring to. But I'm not talking about lavishing, buying your family the next Lamborghini, the next Mercedes Benz, or whatever the case is. What I'm actually talking about is making sure that if, let's say, I want to go beyond like bare minimum, but if you had a child that maybe needed to go to college but didn't have the actual funds, set them straight, set the things that they need straight. Maybe you have an elderly mother that you're taking care of, and you don't know how to take care of them in the future because you've been struggling, right? All these things need to be set into order prior to moving forward. Okay, the approval. Oh my God, congratulations. I'm so glad you did that. Again, I was late in doing it and I recently got it. I don't remember what they approved, the amount they approved me for, but it was significantly a lot higher than the amount that they initially gave. I'll have to go back in the email and circle back and let you know what they approved me for. But yeah, so that part is that. In addition to all the tithing and offering that we already know that people talk about, make sure your family is a part of offering your sincerity back to God, because you can't be a hypocrite saying, I'm going to take care of these people, I'm going to take care of other people, you know, outside, and you're going to feed the homeless, and you're going to do all these things. Meanwhile, you have people directly in your family that are struggling for their basic needs to be met. So I wanted to harp on that, and not just the traditional aspect of tithing and offering. And this is not necessarily exactly related to tithing and offering, but it somehow connects. At least that would be an offer that you're offering to God, of an offer of sincerity to fulfill the duty that you were supposed to already do, and then some. Okay. The other thing is, I had a dream where God told me, well, He showed me teaching other women that they need to pay off specific debts, like their cars. So there's a Bible verse, and I put it here: give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. Let no debt remain outstanding except continuing debt to love one another. If that's not clear, I don't know what is. A lot of people are talking about possibly not paying their taxes. This is something that I've really learned how serious it was. I didn't know how serious it was before, but I've learned over time. But that Bible verse is clear. Anything that you owe, I plan on paying my house debt off, car debt, anything, right? I think, especially in America, I don't know my crowd wherever they are. They could be in other parts of the world, but let me just speak to America. I think America has trained a lot of people to love being in debt. You know, there's a bunch of subscriptions, so you can keep going on an on-rolling basis. You have leases that you can lease a car and just keep renewing the lease, and you're never owning anything. And let's not forget, the objective is for them on us is for us to own nothing and be happy. And that's a very dangerous mindset, because it strips us of our ability to be dominant in the things that God called us to be, to have dominion is what I mean, right? And so I say all of that to say, don't let them keep you in that trap of rolling your debt forward. I know they say that there is good debt and there's bad debt, but there's only good debt if you're a very meticulous and disciplined person. But I've also seen that it ends up being a way to deceive people, to think that they can get out of it, and they end up in more debt and more debt until, boom, it falls over. You know, that's one of the reasons why you'll hear billionaires killing themselves, right? I mean, apart from them like probably selling their soul to get to those billions, another is when you net everything that they have, when you look at what they owe versus what they have nothing really. And that's the same thing with the United States. So that's something I wanted to harp on. Pay your debt off, your car. For me, it would be my car. Even if I got a new car, I want to pay it all off. I don't want anything strapping me as if, you know, I'm not secure in my actual net value. Let me go on to the next final screen for you guys. Okay. Victoria, or Victory 777. I know you talked about you got your approval, you know, for Kraken last year or whatever, but make sure you guys are finalizing your blueprint outline. Okay. So, the blueprint outline for me is a lot of the projects that God has put into our hearts. I don't expect for people to have everything to the T of where they're going to go, what they're going to do, but have an outline so that once that money hits, you guys, I'm not even lying, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to sleep so God can give me a dream. So He can give me a dream about my exact steps the next day, because we can run rampant. Like it's overwhelming. Actually, it can be overwhelming to just, you go from really not having enough or just having a little bit to anything is possible at this point. So finalize that blueprint. I gave the Bible verse, Habakkuk 2:2. Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and engrave it plainly on tablets so that the one who reads it runs with it, right? Make it plain enough that when you go back, you can read step by step. All right, so I needed to go and get the EIN. In the United States, that's what is like a social security for your business. Oh, I needed to register with the Secretary of State so that my business looks legit. I need to set up trust funds. You know, so all of these things need to be written out. You can use ChatGPT to help you, so on and so forth. But get that blueprint outline going. The other thing is prioritizing your health. God told me, I think 2 years ago now, build wealth with health. Guys, if we don't have health, we have nothing. So here's 3 John 2. Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers. God wants us to prosper not only in just the material things, but our physical health. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but they're literally putting things out there to depopulate the population. And that's very important for us to put our health in priority. Because what's the point of having all this wealth and you can't get out of bed and you can't enjoy it and you can't even have a mental competency of what you should do next, because your mind is foggy, because you're so focused on how you don't feel well, right? So that's something that we need to definitely prioritize. I actually put some links at the bottom of the video that has to do with, I guess, health and safety, which leads to the next bullet. It says, the prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it. That's Proverbs 22:3, right? So I want us to prioritize our safety through preparedness. And that's where all those links you're going to find at the bottom. Keep them stored somewhere, because it lists a lot of important things that I'll go in another video in detail why we need certain things, why it's important. And we don't have to have them now, but we should have them going forward, right? We should have them once that money hits, that wealth transfer hits. We need to secure ourselves. That's why he says a prudent person sees danger, and there is danger coming. Prior to, I went to Dubai at the end of January because there was this big food show in Dubai at the end of January. And when I came back, the second week I came back, I felt this, I had this feeling like the Lord didn't actually tell me anything. I just had this feeling that something really, really bad is about to happen. And I don't remember what actually did happen at that time, but something did happen. And there's more. Like it's not even the feeling that I felt. It has not, whatever I felt like God is showing me is going to happen or telling me is going to happen, it hasn't happened yet. And so if we know that danger is about to come, it's our duty to protect ourselves. Again, I listed a bunch of items at the end of the video that you guys can scroll through and click through. But if you're not interested in it now, I'm going to be making another video about a whole list. And if I have time, I may create like a downloadable PDF that you can just freely get and look at all of the items and check them off like a checklist. So those are some of the things that I wanted to talk to us about. Just prioritizing our safety. I want these links to be readily available to you guys, just because, listen, when stuff happens, when we end up getting that money, we may not, this is not our priority. It may not be our priority because we're so excited and so thankful that the Lord finally did what he said he was going to do. So get these things mentally in your mind now for later. If anyone else has anything to say, I'm kind of nervous, guys, because this was my first live stream. So I don't have like much to add here. I do, but I don't remember them. So, so if no one has anything to say, I'm going to end up ending the live stream. I'll give it like another minute or two to see if anybody has anything extra to add. But keep these checkpoints somewhere in your mind. We got to strap ourselves because we're about to have a good time. God is good. But if we're not strapped, if we're not anchored the way that we should be, we have the potential to lose what we had just as quick as we got it. And Victory 777, I want to thank you so much for participating, because again, it was my first live, so nervous. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in my next live. I'll try to do them more often, just because I notice it seems easier for other YouTubers to keep having lives so that they have content to give to you guys. I was getting stuck in making a bunch of videos, and I was never able to I was never okay. Withdrawal limits on Kraken Pro. Marcus helped me through it. Okay, this is great. Yeah, he's a great resource. He's a great help in our community. I think he was the one that made me realize that if you don't end up requesting certain things, you're not going to be able to, we won't have access to it. Actually, that reminds me, let me go look in my email really quickly to see what the limit, what was the limit that they gave me. Give me 1 second, guys. I just want to check for, and I'll tell you guys. At least that way you know what's the realm of possibility, right? Okay, hold on. Kraken. I'm just looking through my emails. And again, the person who approved it was Grace. I was so happy. It literally felt like a confirmation from God that it's Grace. Oh yeah, I got the same limit, Victory. I got the same limit. Your daily crypto withdrawal limits are set to 10 million daily, and then I don't know what that equates to monthly, but your cash deposit and withdrawal limits are now set to 10 million daily. Oh, and 100 million monthly. That's what it is. Okay. So, yeah, you did a good job there. But everything else, I hope you guys get to it. And yeah, I'll connect with you guys later. Bye. Leave me comments for anything you want to talk about in our next live.